Hey friend, I want to share my top 5 spiritual practices with you. Just like you feed your physical body, you must also feed your spiritual body. Taking time out of the day to appreciate what you have is essential in order to give yourself some perspective. We are wired to focus on this because we must come up with solutions to solve these problems. Many people fill this void with superficial things which leave them feeling like they need more. The truth is that the only way to feed your mind and body is through your soul. You might be thinking, then how can I feed my soul? In order to answer that question, you have to take a break. Stepping away from everything that occupies your mind and in order to focus on the things in your life that you might not have noticed is a wonderful way to be present. Spiritual practices, when they are part of a daily routine, they become the small steps that help you achieve inner peace and happiness. So, here are my top 5 spiritual practices that I believe are good for your mind, your body, and your spirit. Number 1, meditation, also known as guidance from within. Meditation as a spiritual practice is good for your mind, body, and spirit. There are as many ways to meditate as there are people on the planet. Meditation has many different forms. Part of your spiritual development is to find a method that works for you. Meditation is not mentally active in the way that study is active, nor is it mentally directive in the way that prayer serves to direct our thoughts. If meditation resembled any activity, it would be the activity of listening. If it required any action, it would be the action of surrender. For meditation is the practice of allowing emptiness to permeate the mind. Meditation can also be described as the state of awareness and experience of freedom that rises up in the absence of thoughts, feelings, or expectations. Meditation can be practiced through yoga or mindfulness techniques. There is no right or wrong way to meditate. However, in order to be effective, you must first find an avenue that works for you. The key is to take a small amount of time out of the day to remind yourself that all the things you're grateful for, they are the most important. Most forms of meditation come from techniques that teach you how to find your inner peace by relinquishing control of things that are beyond you. This can help relieve anxiety, stress, and fear. Number 2, affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment, also known as communion with the divine. Prayer, in the common use of the word, is an act of communicating with God by speaking out loud or by silently using direct thought. Prayer can also be sung. Often the purpose of the communication is to ask for something for oneself or someone else. An outcome, a change in circumstance, an increase in possessions, awareness. Affirmative prayer is a specific type of prayer that departs from the idea of asking God to do anything on anyone's behalf. Instead, affirmative prayer is a mental exercise that one actively engages in to regain thought with the true good nature of divine reality. In this way, affirmative prayer is a practice of thoughtfully aligning with reality by affirming it. The correct prayer is therefore never a prayer of supplication, but a prayer of gratitude. When you thank God in advance for that which you choose to experience in your reality, you in effect acknowledge that it is there. In effect, thankfulness is thus the most powerful statement to God, an affirmation that even before you asked, I have answered. Therefore, never supplicate. appreciate. Number 3, spiritual study. This helps you with awakening the meaning. Spiritual study is the intentional exploration of thoughts, beliefs, and ideas of others in order to clarify our understanding, expand our awareness, and deepen the personal meaning of the divine. Read a book about spirituality to feed your mind. Books focusing on spirituality can help you gain more insight from others on techniques and ideas that you can apply in your life. If books aren't your thing, you can always listen to a podcast or an audiobook. When you have found some books or podcasts that you like, you can even follow the authors and other content creators for more tips. Sometimes authors and content creators even host book clubs and meetups, which can help you meet other like-minded people. Number 4, Seva, selfless service. This is about oneness in action. Sometimes the best way to help yourself is to help someone else. Doing a small deed like a favor for a friend or helping someone in need is a way to achieve self-fulfillment, which can be a spiritual practice. Do something nice for someone each day. This step might seem arbitrary, but there is a spiritual aspect in doing good deeds for others. Seva means selfless service in the ancient Indian language of Sanskrit. On a personal level, Seva can be thought of as those acts of service that we do for other people with no personal gain in mind. Typically, this would refer to acts of volunteering for charitable causes. However, the spiritual practice of Seva refers to the state of mind with which we perform an action in the world, a state of mind founded in dedicating and surrendering our actions to the Divine One. Ultimately then, Seva is the attitude of selflessness with which we engage in any activity, including those that form our daily work and routine. With that being said, this does not mean that you should do nice things for others because it will make you happy. The happiness comes from selflessness, which means that you are okay with being vulnerable around others and you don't expect anything in return. Number 5, circulation. This is about participating in the natural spiritual order of never-ending flow. It is the nature of the Divine One to simultaneously give and receive. By emulating this quality of inward and outward flow, we reveal our own true spiritual nature. Both our physical and emotional health thrive when we balance the acts of taking in and giving out. To understand why, just imagine inhaling without exhaling, or exhaling without inhaling. Or think of the Dead Sea in the Holy Land, filled with undrinkable water, heavy with minerals because there's only water coming in and none going out. These physical examples reflect the necessity for flow and harmonious exchange on both the physical and spiritual levels. Your spiritual nature requires that you become both an inlet and an outlet for divine good. Breathing exercises are good for your body, and they relax your mind. Breathing is an involuntary process that is essential for our survival, but ironically, something we don't even notice. Sometimes when we breathe, we get just enough air to obtain oxygen for our red blood cells to function. Practicing breathing exercises helps us get more oxygen throughout our body and brain, which in return helps us feel calmer and clear-minded. My dear friends, if you want more support for your mind, your body, and your soul, visit my website and book a session with me via www.adrielhortiales.com. And I hope that these 5 spiritual practices are as beneficial to you as they have been to me. And I wish you much happiness, much love, and much life.